Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now April 13th of 2020, and ever since the release of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, a lot of fans around the world have been very intrigued about the future of the Star Wars franchise by Disney and Lucasfilm, and exactly how things are really going to turn out by the new Disney CEO, Bob Chaypek. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, the thing about Disney Star Wars as of this point right now is that we do know that Disney is, of course, really trying their absolute best in order to really patch things together, starting off with The Mandalorian Season 2 and moving on to other TV shows and new Star Wars films that's going to make up the fourth Star Wars trilogy and more to come. Now, obviously, this is all part of the new Star Wars universe. We got a combination of movies, TV shows, books, novels, comics, video games, and so on and so forth. So, when we look past The Rise of Skywalker, obviously we're heading into a new era of Star Wars, not just in-universe-wise, but out-universe-wise. For us, the Star Wars community, we will see a brand new era of Star Wars, and what I mean by that is exactly how things are going to be handled moving on forward when Bob Chaypek is out of that transitionary phase until, of course, sometime in 2021. Now, with that being said, what's really intriguing that is a big risk by Disney is, of course, developing all these major retcons that are going to change how we view the sequels, originals, and prequels. And this is most certainly going to apply to many of the main characters like Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, Rey, and more. So now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are finished with The Rise of Skywalker, they are focused on their new Star Wars trilogy of films, as well as their new Star Wars universe. Now, it's noted that currently the new Disney CEO, Bob Chaypek, has been making key creative choices for the future of Star Wars and developing many changes over at Lucasfilm in order to provide a better future for the Star Wars brand and the Star Wars community. Now, it's noted that a part of this big change has to do with major retcons coming our way for the prequels, originals, and sequels that will alter how fans view the Star Wars movies in general. As of right now, one of the major changes that are being made has to do with the character of Luke Skywalker in multiple ways for the Star Wars universe that is being created as we speak. One major retcon coming our way has to do with altering the death of Luke Skywalker and exactly what caused Luke Skywalker to die at the very end of The Last Jedi. One of the retcons that are being created by Lucasfilm for Luke Skywalker will include that it was the power of the wills that ultimately killed Luke Skywalker, where Luke Skywalker essentially used a power of the gods called the wills at the very end of the film by gaining the ability to create a double image of himself across the galaxy by tapping into his power. Now, this retcon is set to establish that before Luke Skywalker shut himself off from the Force, that his father Anakin Skywalker taught him this ability from the netherworld of the Force during his time on Ahch-To, and trained with his father Anakin Skywalker for months in order to learn how to master the power of the wills that would grant him such a power through the Force. Additionally, it's explained that another retcon for Luke Skywalker that is being developed by Lucasfilm that will be established sometime next year in 2021 is that Luke Skywalker had a wife and child during the events between The Force Awakens and Return of the Jedi. This major retcon is currently being developed in order to change how fans view the character of Luke in the sequels and his life before the sequel trilogy era for fans to enjoy sometime next year. So this most certainly does fall directly in line with what we talked about a couple of days ago of how Lucasfilm is trying to find a big way to bring back the character of Ben Skywalker from, of course, the old expanded universe, which was Luke Skywalker's son. Now, they're trying to do that in a sense in order to change how we view the character of Luke, right? Even Daisy Ridley said that Luke felt more like the real Luke in Episode 9. She herself was able to fully admit that Luke in The Last Jedi was just not Luke, and so did a lot of other people out there. The writers, or should I say the editors of The Rise of Skywalker, Mary Ann Brandon and others out there, have even expressed that what Rian Johnson did to Luke made things a whole lot more harder to actually perform in Episode 9 in order to really utilize the character of Skywalker. And we saw where that happened, it led us to maybe a scene at most of Luke in the movie in comparison to what they wanted to do when J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio were working hard with Mark Hamill on various flashback scenes that Kathleen Kennedy deleted. Now, the other thing that I do want to bring up here is this to me is a big risk by introducing the power of the wills and the fact that Luke Skywalker was able to tap into such a power. Makes you wonder now, right? If he can use the power of the gods, why can't he have used the power to bring himself back to life in The Rise of Skywalker. It seems like that this retcon is going to be a bit of a shaky decision by Lucasfilm to establish in the future books, novels, comics, you name it, that's going to change our perception of the actual Star Wars movies. So like I've said before in the past, guys, let me know what you think about how Luke was treated in The Last Jedi and what you feel, or should I say how you feel about Kathleen Kennedy deleting many of Luke's scenes from The Rise of Skywalker. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.